hooking up and having sex with random people is not cool. It is gross and disgusting. And it's time someone finally addresses it, because I just see throughout social media and just people in general, all these just plain wrong, viewpoints. And this hookup culture is just, it's disgusting, and everybody's caught up in it. Everybody's trapped in it, myself included. For the past decade, I was caught up in it. But when you really think about it, and you really reflect, or you really just have an epiphany, an awakening with God or whatever, you really realize how disgusting and gross that is. We literally are not supposed to be doing that. And then you have all these people, they claim they want, I want this perfect romantic relationship. I want love. I want real love. I want romance, whatever. And then they completely ignore the standard that God has set, which is literally the most romantic, perfect standard for love and relationships. Literally, it is the most romantic thing that exists. Because what does every relationship basically rely upon? You being the only one. Man or woman, if you find out you're an option, and the person that you're with has other people involved, it's a wrap. You're not gonna tolerate that. You know what I mean? So what does God's standard say? He says, don't ever have any hookups ever. So you don't what do men get insecure or jealous about, or territorial about, whatever, is a woman's past. Why? Because they don't want to have a woman that a bunch of other people's been with. Real G's, they don't want somebody that anybody's been with. You want to get real about it. We truly desire a pure woman. A purity is the highest form of loyalty, because you were loyal before you even met the person, So that's why a pure woman is the most valuable woman. But what happens when a woman has 15 guys in her past? She's not that pure anymore. And it's going to show. Women that have a promiscuous past, it shows in their behavior. Men, not so much. But what do women claim they want? They want romance, right? But they completely ignore God's standards. God's standard is literally be pure and do not hook up, do not have, sexual relations before marriage. And so if you have a man who has no sexual relationships before marriage and is retaining his seed, and then you have a woman who is pure and hasn't done anything, and then they come together and fall in love, the way you're supposed to, the way that God has said, and then they get married and then they have sex. Oh my God, that'll be the best sex ever. Because the more you retain as a man, the more sensitive it's gonna be. So when you finally do it, it's gonna be the most sensational feeling ever. And then a woman, if she's never done anything either, when they come together after actually loving each other and falling in love with each other's soul and personality, and their face, their spirit, their actual selves, not just their body or some stupid hookup. When that happens and they follow God's way, and then they have sex, and then they continue to follow God's way in marriage, which is get married to your soulmate and never leave them ever. Like, that's the most romantic thing ever. Like, he literally says, do not have any relations before you marry the love of your life, your soulmate, so that eliminates any baggage. This is why God's way is literally perfect, and it's the perfect standard for romance and love, but nobody seems to acknowledge it or follow it, or not, they're not aware of it or whatever. But I'm gonna wake you up right now. Two individuals, they get married, they follow God's way. What else does God say within marriage? Have sex often. So you get married, his standard. Now, that doesn't mean it's even possible for everybody to live their standard, especially if they're no longer pure. But the point is, the standard is what works. Whether or not you're able to completely follow the standard, or you're able to correct your previous ways and then try to follow the standard, whatever. The point is, the standard is perfect. If you have a woman that's never been with any other man, and she gets with a dude and he's never been with any other woman, what baggage are you going to have? What jealousy of previous partners are you going to have? What drama are you going to have? What STDs are you going to have? What unplanned pregnancies, baby mama, baby daddy with somebody else are you going to have? Absolutely none of that. Your love will simply be stronger for the other person. Because if they're all you know, and your presumption and desire is to be together forever, what purpose is there for anyone else? There isn't. This is the way God planned. One man, one woman in marriage. Within marriage, you have sex often, which is the highest form of love and intimacy, is having sex. So you have sex with your spouse often, to the point where neither one of you is even tempted to cheat. So you sexually satisfy your partner so often to where they don't even have the thought of cheating. Like, you know how people don't have sex in a relationship and then they go elsewhere? God is the one that said, hello, you two love each other, right? Make love. And make love often. Like, I'm telling you, God's the most romantic person. Oh my gosh, man. If you have the love of your life and you've never had sex before, and then you start having sex and you do it with only them for life, it will be the most satisfying thing ever. Why? Because it'll be true love. Hooking up and this hookup culture garbage, you are doing the most intimate act of love, but yet you're not in love. Like, think of how backwards that is. Obviously, that's not what we should be doing. And then if you understand semen retention, if you're woke on that, you understand that as a man, you're losing your power. You're literally losing your value by wasting your semen when you're not supposed to. And as a woman, you are losing your value by sleeping around when you're not supposed to. As like a woman of God, there should never be a thought in a woman of God to have curiosity. Oh, well, I never got to have my phase. What? That doesn't even make sense. A woman of God should desire to be with one man and have her first man be her only man for the rest of life. Like, that's the way God intended. And it's just crazy, because now it's like they're pushing the opposite. They're pushing that hooking up and hookup culture is good somehow. How is getting STDs, having unplanned pregnancies, which mostly end up in single parent households, which are objectively not as good as two parent households, how is any of that good? How is that possibly good? It's not. It is literally against God. God gave you the perfect standard for a perfect relationship. It is up to us to simply abide by that and follow it. And here's the other thing that's crazy. God will not bless you with a godly woman if you are not a godly man? That's what I had to learn. You cannot be going around, sleeping around, hooking up with girls, and then just be like, yeah, dude, like, I just need a wife, man. Like, these girls, it's like, man, I still gotta get mine, you know what I mean? Like, met this girl out, I had to, like, I had to take care of business, but, like, obviously, I want a wife. It's not going to work like that. You cannot be pretending, appearing like, oh, I'm a relationship type, and then really just be sleeping and hooking up with multiple people. Like, what do you think you're going to attract? You're going to attract a woman who is appearing to be a wifey relationship type, when in reality, she's a hoe behind your back. It is the law of attraction. And some people claim like, oh, the law of attraction is like evil or demonic or witchcraft or whatever. I do not believe that in the slightest. The law of attraction is simply a law of the universe, just like the law of gravity, just like the law of thermodynamics. It's literally in the Bible. You reap what you sow. Life and death come from the power of the tongue. I mean, it's a law of the universe. It's like if you stub your toe in the morning on the bed and you're getting out of bed, you stub your toe and then you're just like, ah, dang, what the F? And then you punch the lamp and then the lamp breaks and then your knuckles get bloody and then you're like, God, why did this happen? And then you just get mad and then you freak out and this day is ruined. If you give off negativity, you will attract negativity. Whereas if you wake up, you stub your toe, and then you're just like, ooh, Jesus, please help me. Please help the pain go away. Oh, it's going to be short. It'll be over in a second. Okay, whatever. It'll be gone in a second. All right. Today's going to be a good day. What was I going to do? All right, let's have a good day. The results will be entirely different. Like it's literally it's just attraction. Like it's energy. Like everything is energy. It's atoms, molecules. If you give off a positive energy, you will receive positive energy. If you give off negativity, you'll receive negativity. That's just the way the universe works. There's nothing demonic or anything about that. It's literally in the Bible. You reap what you sow. If you reap corruption, you will sow corruption. It's the same exact thing. It's just different wording. But it's basically like, if you are a whoremonger, even if your heart desires a wife, if you're a whoremonger, you're gonna attract whores. Like, you can't be like, oh, I'm a husband, but I'm sleeping around with multiple women, I'm hooking up and I'm doing this and that, and I'm trying to get at all these women. You're literally just going to attract a woman doing the same thing. And that's what I learned. And here's the key. See, with me, I thought, but I'm not doing these women wrong. I'm not lying to these women. I'm loyal to these women. Like, I'm not lying to these women. They just happen to be doing me wrong. So it's like, no, you can't do that. The point is, you can't be involved with them at all. It doesn't matter if, oh, I'm loyal to them. How come I just can't get a wife, even though I'm loyal to all the women that I hook up with? It's because you're still hooking up with women. You're still disobeying God. It's sexual immorality. Whether you're masturbating or hooking up with a woman, you're disobeying God. Why would God gift you? The Bible says a godly woman, a virtuous woman, is a gift from God. That means like a wifey woman who is truly wifeable, that will stay with you for the end of time, that will never divorce you, never cheat on you, be loyal to you, honest to you, love you till the end of time. She's a literal gift from God. It ain't average. So you think God is going to gift you with a godly woman when you are not even a godly man? Why would he do that? Why would he purposely unequally yoke you when he says to be equally yoked? He says a godly man will receive a godly woman. And that's the problem with this red pill and all this garbage. It's like they literally are like telling you to be a hoe, but then they're trying to be like, oh, you should expect a wife and you deserve a wife and make sure like you try to get this type of woman. Or it's like you're literally saying like that you should try and get a wife, but then you're also saying to sleep around with girls who are the furthest thing from wives. Which is it? You can't have both. You can't be hooking up and then expect to attract a husband or a wife. That's insanity. And I didn't realize that because I just thought it was my intentions, and my intentions were pure. I was just wanting one girl. Now I happened to, get manipulated down the hookup culture to where eventually it was at the point where I was like, I just want to hook up. But then eventually I snapped out of it. I was just like, it took a couple times to where I was just like, why is this not fulfilling? Why are none of these girls like wifeable? And if they're not wifeable, why am I even getting with them? Like, it used to be the point, like when I was a virgin, I was like, I'm not giving any of these girls my D, you know what I mean? It's like I'm like, I used to be the pure one, like the women are supposed to be. And then it just got to the point where it's just like, once the cat's out the bag, you don't care as much until you realize what the detriment of hooking up does. You are literally preventing real love and real romance from entering into your life because you're literally preventing God's gift. God's gift is for two people, man and woman, to be together forever and for them to live righteously. And when they obey God righteously, that's when you have literal love for life. If you obey God and you get married to your soulmate, it is like impossible for you to break up. It's impossible. Because he says, do not cheat on your wife or your husband, do not cheat. And then he also says the only reason you should divorce is for cheating. But if you're following God, you wouldn't be cheating to begin with. And if you're loving your wife, and you're loving your husband, you're not giving each other a reason to want a divorce. It's like literally, it's like a math problem. Like if you put 2 + 2 = 4 into the calculator, 2 + 2, you will get 4. If you put God's plan into your calculator of your life, you will get the answer. Like if you obey God's standard for love, you will be in love for life. Like it's like, you know what I mean? But for me personally, I learned that I absolutely have to be righteous and a godly man to attract a righteous, godly woman that I truly desire. It's like, how are you going to say, oh, I deserve a 1% woman who's not hooking up and not getting drunk and not doing all this if you yourself are doing it? It's not going to happen. The only thing that's going to happen from hooking up is you're going to get an STD. And that's awful. That's disgusting. Or you're going to get an unplanned pregnancy. Or you're just going to have a bunch of people in your past that were all temporary and now they're gone and they don't mean anything. You have no meaningful developed relationships because you were just hooking up. I mean, it's so stupid. It's so gross. But society tries to lie to you and tell you that, oh, it's fine, especially nowadays. Oh, women, you should sleep around. It's for body positivity. It's for, your empowerment or whatever. It's all lies from the devil. The devil comes to kill, steal, and destroy. He has obviously come to destroy love and destroy relationships. Why is the marriage rate at an all-time low? Why is romance at an all-time low? Because Satan has destroyed it. Who do you think runs society? Who do you think runs social media, trends, government, billionaires? It's the same pedophiles from Epstein Island. You think men of God, women of God are going on Epstein's Island and touching kids? You think they're having sacrifices? This is all demonic stuff. It's so obvious. It's so obvious. And they don't want the family. Think about it. The family is strong together. They try to tear the family apart. They want women as single parents. They want men as single parents. They want the family ripped apart, which is obvious. It's of Satan. God wants the family together. He wants you not hooking up, being promiscuous, being a whore. He wants you being pure and falling in love with someone else pure, who has a heart for good, a heart for God, which means they have loyalty, real love on their heart. They don't have ill intentions of, well, let me just have this main chick, but, I'm going to still have some on the side, you know what I mean? Or, oh, I got my roster. It's all garbage. It's not cool. It's stupid, and it's gross. It's disgusting. I mean, imagine what really clicked for me when I was just like, how did I get sucked into this? Manipulated into this disgusting lifestyle is when I had one girl and I hooked up with her, and she literally mentioned, she was like, yeah, this guy was over earlier. And I was just like, you said what? You said you had another guy over earlier? That's when it really clicked for me, that I was just like, I mean, because in the past, it's like you got the ego, you got the pride. It's like, oh no, ain't no girl hooking up with no dude and then hooking up with me. That's nasty. That's some cuck stuff. But then it's like, when you're in that lifestyle, you can't control it. You can't control it. You can't be like hooking up with somebody and then be like, oh no, I'm not a cuck, dude. She wouldn't dare like do something like that, like right before hanging out with me. It's like, dude, like when you're hooking up with girls that hook up and stuff like that, promiscuous women, promiscuous people in general, they could have literally hooked up with someone else that very same day. You don't know if they hooked up with somebody that week, that very same day. It is absolutely disgusting. And when you're really on your highest morality and mindset, righteousness towards God, you see that. Like, I remember I was like, I'm not doing that with no like this or that, whatever. I was saying like, oh, I couldn't stoop that low. But then when you get caught up in the hookup culture, like, oh my God, next you know, it's like, dang, man, I'm really this girl's seconds. I mean, this is disgusting. And then it makes you think, wait, how do I know every single girl I didn't hook up wasn't also hooking up with other guys the same exact time as me? It's all disgusting. If you want real love and real romance, which everybody supposedly claims they want, your actions have to show it. You can't just say you want something and then your actions do the opposite. That's a hypocrite. And you will not attract, you will not receive what you truly desire until you give off the energy and you give off what you desire. If it is a wife you desire, a woman who is not sleeping around, hooking up with multiple people, you must be the husband that a wife desires that is not sleeping around, hooking up with multiple people. It's really that simple. There's only consequences to hooking up. There's no benefits. Like literally, it's literally like fake love. Like you get a temporary like satisfaction and then it's gone. It's stupid. And not to mention the risk associated with it. So stop hooking up, regardless of what culture has brainwashed everyone into thinking. Hooking up, promiscuous sex, it is unhealthy for you. It is disgusting. It's dangerous. It's risky. It's unromantic. And it's not of God. It's literally demonic. It's the opposite of what God says to do. So, I mean, literally, regardless if you believe in God or not, like I said, this is a mathematical equation. You don't have to believe in God to know that if you plug 2 + 2 = 4, like into the calculator, it's going to equal 4. If you follow God's standards of relationship, love, marriage, it will be successful. Like, that is literally the equivalent of a simple mathematical equation. It's just a fact. And it could be proven by applying it. It's the same with semen retention. People try to say, oh, well, these articles said you should release once a week or once a month. It's not healthy to retain. They don't, it's not the truth. The truth is what God says it is. If you apply semen retention, you learn for yourself is the truth. If you apply God's word, you learn for yourself is the truth. I myself, I was a victim of going down that hookup culture road. And the whole time I was just like, I felt like it was off. I felt gross. I felt unloved. You don't feel real, genuine love when the person you're doing that intimate act with doesn't even love you. It's just like, it's stupid. So I say, let's push out the narrative into the society. The hookup culture is bad. I think it's pretty obvious. I think if people truly want romance, they need to follow the God of the Bible. It's that simple. It's the most romantic poetry in existence. Peace out.